Hello, in this video I will be explaining how we can apply basis part testing for QuickSort program. See, we all know that the QuickSort is one of the sorting algorithm which uses divide and conquer technique. So it works based on the pivot. We fix the pivot element. All the elements which are at the left side of the pivot should be lesser than the pivot, and the elements which are at the right side of the pivot should be greater than the pivot element. And if it fails, we swap and we continue this operation by dividing the arrays into two partitions. And this is a recursive algorithm. So let us see the program. First, we'll ask user to enter the array. So by reading the enter a number of elements, then the elements are array elements will be read. Then we call a function called as quicksort. To this function, we are passing three elements. One is array and the starting index and the last index of an array. Now, in this function, we'll check whether the starting index is less than the ending index, what we have passed, and we'll set pivot as a first element. Pivot will be pointing to the first element now, first element of an array or the zeroth element of an array. Then we'll set I to the starting element, j to the last element. Till I remains less than j, we'll start scanning from the left side as well as from the right side. From the left side of an array, we start checking whether each and every element is less than or equal to the pivot or not. So if from the left element, so we start, so we take the first element that will be compared with the pivot element. If it is less than or equal to pivot element, and if the index is less than the last index, I will be incremented. So this will keep on executed until and unless this condition satisfies. Once the list element becomes greater than the pivot element, if we find any list element which is greater than the pivot element, or if it crosses above the high, we'll stop incrementing the I value. We call this as left scan. Similarly, we perform the scanning operation from the right side. So we'll take the last element and we compare it with the pivot element. So as it is at the right side, it should be greater than the pivot element, and we start decrementing the j if this condition satisfied. Once if we find an element which is not greater than the pivot element, we start decrementing. We stop decrementing the j and will enter into this branching statement. Here, if I remains less than j, we exchange the value of I and j. Otherwise, we'll directly move here. Uh, Here, we'll exchange the pivot element with the jth element. Once it is done, now we have two partitions. All the elements which are at the left side of the j will be considered as the partition 1. All the elements which are at the right side of the j will be considered as a partition 2, and we call the same quicksort function recursively. So by passing these elements, and it continues. Finally, we get the sorted array. So now let us concentrate more on the basis part testing. In the basis part testing, we need to construct a graph like this. So how it is constructed? So hope you can observe, we have numbered each and every line in the program like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, that way. So now each line in the program will be represented as a node in this graph. So if you see here from 1 to 7, so it just involve initialization and reading an array elements. All these are sequential. See, 1 to 5 we have sequential elements, and at 6 there is a loop, so it is reading the array elements. Again, once the array elements are read, we'll call a quicksort function. So at the 8th number we are calling the quicksort function. So the sequential elements instructions are from 1 to 8, and at 8th node we are calling the quicksort function. It is at the node 13, because from 8 it will go to node 13. Once it is executed, it will once the execution is completed, then we'll come back to this location and we'll proceed with the sequence again. So once it is done, it will come back to 9, and this is the further flow, printing of a sorted array. Now here from 8, the quicksort function will be called, and here some basic initialization inside this function. Then there is one branching statement. If low is less than or less than high or not. If it is true, it will enter into this path. Otherwise, it will directly exit from this function. It will directly exit, complete this and go out of this function. Once this condition fails, it will terminate the function and come back to this position. So it will directly go to 33, which is termination, and after 33, it will go to the 9th node, and it continues. The array will be printed, and that's all. So if the condition satisfies, if low is less than high, it will enter into 15. So here it will enter into 16. Here we set pivot to low, and all other operation will continue. So like this, we have constructed one simple graph for every node, and each and every flow is properly mentioned in this graph. See, these are all the nodes, and these are all the edges in this graph. From this graph, we can construct one graph called as DD path graph by taking only few nodes from this. See, as from 1 to 8, we have a sequential flow. So and only at the 8th location, it is moving to some other function. So from 1 to 7, we don't have any issue. It is sequential flow. We'll call it as node A here. So for every D path, we should have one node with in degree 0, one node without degree 0, like that. So many conditions are there. Accordingly, this DD path is constructed. Now A is pointing from this graph. A is constructed. Here the node number 1 to 7 is represented by node A. Similarly, after this we have 8. So that is your node B. And at 8, we can call a function. Here we are representing function with D, and inside the function we have 14 and 15. Again at 15, branching takes place. So if you see here, so at the node number 15, that is E main branching statements, if you can see, there are two options. So it flows like this, and we can construct a single graph called as DT path by referring to this. Once we construct these things, we'll count the number of nodes in it. From A to O, there are 15 nodes in it, and we'll count the number of edges also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like this. So here the number of edges is 19, and we will calculate cyclomatic complexity. The formula is the number of edges minus number of nodes plus 2 times the path. As it is a single path, then a path is 1, p is 1. So number of edges in this graph is 19. Number of nodes in this graph is 15. So you'll get 19 minus 15 plus 2 times 1. So it is 6. So we have 6 independent paths from this. We can find out 6 independent paths from this. For example, path 1. So it is simple one. The flow will move from A to B sequence. The function will be called. It will go to the function now. From B, the function is called. It will enter into the statement, branching statement E. Maybe the branching statement has failed, so it directly enter into O. Now from O, it will return back to the function, and it will proceed with the further statements, printing an array. C represents this part here. So it is printing an array, and this is the simple one, P1. So we have a P2, so it is a complex path. It goes through all these things. Like that, we can frame six different paths. So P1, this is one case. P2, if you observe from A, it will go to B. From B, the function is called D, and in the function, it will enter into a branching statement. Branch is also successful. It will go to F, then G, and if you observe here, what is this G? G is the node number 19. And what is this 19? If you observe, 19 is while loop. So it will enter into the while loop. Here the condition is satisfied. So it will enter into F. We can construct like this: G, H, I, J. Again, while loop, G, and now the while loop of condition fails. So it will come back to L, and it will go to M, L, M. What is M here? So M is 31. What is there in the 31? So in the 31, we are calling the quicksort function. So again, one partition is called. This is a successful case. Again, it will proceed with the same thing. D, E, O, C, and it continues. This is one way. The another path, similarly, A, B, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, instead of going to G, it will directly go to K. So what is the K? K is node 25, 26, 27. So this is 25, 26, 27. What is 25? The 25 is this. So it will directly go to this path. So I less than J. So now here it will pass through this after G, will go through these things, and it will be completed. So six different paths are constructed, all takes a different path in this. For this, we take some example and we write what is the expected output. We execute the program and write the actual output, and the status will be returned, whether it is true or false. We should take the input in such a way that the inputs will matches these paths whatever we have written. So six independent parts are available, six different parts are available. We need to frame the six different parts, and we should take the inputs in such a way that it matches this kind of scenario, and it will be executed. So that's all about Quicksort. Thank you.